Hey guys, I'm Mac from M's Book Love, and I think this is going to be my first video that I'm ever going to upload, but love to read, and this is the Beauty and the Beast book tag. Okay, so the first question is, oh what a guy, Gaston. So Gaston, a villain that you can't help but love. I read a lot of romance, and so there aren't a lot of villains per se, but I'd have to go with Warner from Shatter Me. This is Unite Me. This is the bind up of the novellas. Warner I don't like, but when you're reading his novella and when you're reading Shatter Me, there's times when you kind of have you feel for him, and he's I don't want to spoil anything, but you kind of feel for him because he just likes this girl, loves this girl, and wants to take over the world with her, but she doesn't really want or feel the same way, and so you kind of feel for him sometimes, and so that's who I'd have to pick for that one. The next question is, here's where she meets Prince Charming, Belle, your OTP. Okay, so there's a lot of controversy over this OTP. I'd have to go with Hessa from After. I love After. It is one of my all-time favorite book series. I love it so much. It's fantastic. The movie I loved. So that's who I'd have to pick for my OTP, because a lot of people say they're an abusive relationship, but it just, in the end, it just kind of they both go it's not a perfect relationship like a lot of other novels, and they fight, they do, and it shows a non-perfect relationship, but in the end they are so perfect together, and I love them. So I'd have to pick Hessa, Hardin, and Tessa from the After series. Okay. I want much more than the preferential life. I don't know if I'm saying that right, because it's in cursive and I can't read cursive. Belle Reprise, a character who's designed for greater things. Okay, Coming Up for Air, by Miranda Kenley, and I'd have to pick these two characters. Maggie and Levi are their names. I forgot the girl's name. And they are 100%, they're destined for greater things. They are both swimmers, fantastic swimmers, and they are both destined to be in the Olympics. So I'd have to pick them. And this is such an amazing book. I loved it. I love a lot of Miranda Kenley's books, so you should check those out. Be Our Guest, a book that made you hungry. I'd have to say Listen to Your Heart by Casey West. I don't have it, but if I can figure out how to put a picture of it, I'll put it up on the screen somewhere. And I'd have to pick that one just because at one point in the book they have a cooking contest, and I just think it's super amazing, and I wanted to eat the food they were making. So that's what I would have to pick. For that one it was Be Our Guest, a book that made you hungry. So Beauty and the Beast, Opposites Attract. I would have to put The Distance Between Us by Casey West. And I would pick that one because the two characters are both on very opposite ends of life. The male character is he's rich. Family owns hotels, and he's very rich, while the girl's mom, the main girl character, is poor. Her mom owns a doll shop, and they're like in barely scraping through. She's like having to work there, and they're on very opposite ends of like life, between poor and rich, and they kind of come together to be this romance. And then there's a plot twist, and I'm not going to say because I don't want to spoil it, but you should definitely read it. I love Casey West so much. But there's something in him that I see that I didn't. Sorry. But there's something in him that I simply didn't see. Something there. A character who's more than they appear. Again, after Hardin. Hardin is so much more than he appears. In the first book, he kind of appears to be an asshole and just not a very nice guy. But he is. In the second one, you start to realize that he's gone through a lot. In a little bit in the first one, but more in his perspective. But you kind of realize that he's been through a lot, and that, he's kind of a bad guy sometimes, but like he's been through so much at such a young age that he has stuff in his soul that like most people didn't have to deal with at such a young age. And so you realize that he has more to him than just that like asshole exterior. And he like feels so deeply about things. And throughout the series, you kind of get more in-depth of understanding of him. Especially when it goes from being only Tessa's perspective. Well, this one has a chapter in his perspective, but the original version had only Tessa's perspective in the first one. And in the second one, you get both of their perspectives, and once you kind of get into his perspective, kind of understand him more. And yeah. I was innocent and certain now. I'm wiser but unsure. Days in the Sun, a book that changed you in some way. By Your Side by Casey West. I need to reread this because I skimmed it when I originally read it, but it changed my life. I read when I was younger, obviously. I loved reading. And then I went through like a year-long book slump where I didn't read anything. And this was the book that got me back into reading. Got me back into reading really, pretty much after reading this, I wanted to read all of her books, and then translating to other YA romances to translating into regular romance. And so that kind of went that way. This book is about a girl, and her and this guy get stuck in a library together. And she has anxiety. And stuff goes from there. And he's a foster kid, so he is in foster system. And it just goes from there, and it is such an amazing story. All of her stories are so amazing. Kill the Beast, the Mob Song. A book you picked up because of the hype. I'd have to go with Paper Princess by Aaron Watt. Because it wasn't really hype, it was more of BookTube. I'd watch videos like some of the best romance novels that in BookTube people would say would have Paper Princess on almost all of their lists. And I was like, I read the synopsis and I was like, I don't know if I want to read that. It kind of sounds sketchy, like, no. And then I was on Audible, and I have like the romance package where you can get like all these free romance audiobooks, and it was there. So I was like, I guess I'll read it, and I read it, and I fell in love with the series. Read all of them, I think. I don't think I've read the novella, but I've read most of them, and I love them. They're fantastic. I'll never shake away the pain. Evermore. A book or moment that always makes you cry. I gotta go with Walking Disaster on this one because that book. The moment when his mom dies in the beginning, I sobbed. I was so upset. It was just because it was Travis talking about his mother's death. It was so hard hitting, and it made me feel for him. Like, I sobbed. I was so upset. Like, even after I was done reading the part, I was still like crying. It was so upsetting. But, you know, I love all the beautiful disaster books. Beautiful Disaster, Walking Disaster, and Beautiful Wedding. I read the first two, the spin-offs, but I didn't like those as much, so I haven't read the third one. I probably should, but you've read the third one. Tell me if it's good, and if I should read it. That's all of the questions. I was not tagged to do this tag. I just found it on the internet and wanted me to do it, but, some other booktubers should do it because I haven't seen it too much. So yeah, booktubers like Julia Sapphire, Haley in Bookland, I think is her name, and Zoe should do it. I love all their channels. There's so many that I like. I just can't like think of them right now, but they should definitely try this book tag because it was super fun. And yeah, so thanks for watching. Subscribe, leave a thumbs up if you like it, and comment down below if like a tag I should do or what type of video you want to see next. Okay.